I appreciate everybody taking the time out of your busy day to join us. We're really excited about showing you the new SalesNexus. We've been working on this for quite a long time, and we've released the beta, so it's available for you to play around with. We want to kind of give you a little bit of, for those of you who aren't already SalesNexus customers, we want to give you a little background on where this is coming from and where we're going. And then we're just going to get into showing you around, showing you the live system, and love to hear your feedback. And for everybody on the call today, you're welcome to start a beta. Just go to our site, salesnexus.com, and get in there and let us know what you think. For now, it's just a beta. It's not production. So if you're a client, your current account won't be changed. We'll coordinate with you later about officially upgrading, but that won't happen until next year, early next year. So let's see. There we go. So like I said, a little background on SalesNexus. We've been providing CRM and sales and marketing automation tools to sales teams for 21 years. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is we keep our customers much longer than our competitors. So our customers stay with us on average of almost 5 years. So that's 3 times longer than Salesforce or HubSpot, for instance. And we think the reason is because we really focus on getting engaged with every customer and helping our customers get it right. Setting up a CRM to follow your sales process is not easy all the time. And sometimes it takes some expertise to do that. And we think we do a pretty good job of that. The reason we're so passionate about it is we believe in helping businesses grow. And personally, I believe that, when your business grows, your community is better off for the fact, people have jobs, they're making more money, they can contribute to their churches and other charities. It's everything trickles down and everybody's life gets better. So that's why we're so passionate about helping businesses grow. And we think with this new version, we can do that even, 10 times as much. Here's a little just background on, oops, I clicked too fast there. Oh, shoot. Now I don't know how to go back. Oh, well. We have a lot of happy customers, a lot of customers saying good things about us. We're also Better Business Bureau A+ rated, which is important because if you look around, our competitors are not. They're more like D or F rated. And that's mostly because of customer support. We've always done a real good job of that, as I kind of touched on earlier, and made it a focus. Just to introduce everybody, I am Craig Klein. I'm the CEO and founder. And I'm joined by Caleb Ferguson, who's our product manager. Caleb, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
We're super lucky to have Caleb on board. Caleb was a client and did amazing things with the system in building it around automating his business. And so now he is in charge of working with our clients and helping them set the system up for themselves. So he brings all this expertise, both technical and also just understanding what it's like to be on your side of the table. Also Caleb has been instrumental in helping to build this new version. He's our product manager and really working with the development team to prioritize and get things done in this new version. You see, Damien is also, he's the leader of the development team. So he works closely with Caleb. Damien's not here today. And then also we're joined by Sabrina Ferguson. Say hi, Sabrina.
Hello.
So Sabrina is who you talk to when you ask for help. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, we feel like we do a really good job of being very super proactive, and Sabrina is the tip of the spear there. Our average response time is about an hour, and our average resolution time is less than a day. So you get into the system, you're setting it up, you run into obstacles or questions or whatever it is, and you're not going to be sitting around waiting for days and days to get help. You're not going to be forced to go hire a consultant to put it all together for you. Sabrina's there to help you keep things moving fast. Okay, there we go. Learning how to use my slide presentation here. So the pain points that we hear about the most from customers that are already using some other CRM and marketing automation platform are the, limited automation and scalability, meaning, you don't just use a CRM in your business, you use a lot of different things. You use maybe a shopping cart on your website and accounting system and an ERP and whatever else. And they all need to talk to each other. And things need to be real time, and you don't need to be babysitting all day, right? The more you're having to babysit the connections between apps in your business, the more fragile it is, right? And that just keeps you from executing on opportunities. High maintenance and costs. A lot of these systems are pretty expensive, and then you got to pay extra for support, for instance, or additional, space or contacts or whatever. With SalesNexus, you get a flat fee, and it's all included. Poor support experience is something we hear about a lot, and as we've talked about already, I think you'll experience a completely different thing when you're dealing with SalesNexus. And then finally, a lot of these systems, if you don't either take somebody from your staff and go have them trained for 3 to 6 months, to become an expert so they can set everything up for you and manage it, or hire an outside consultant who starts billing you by the hour, then you're just not going to get it where it needs to be. With SalesNexus, we do that internally. We're going to partner with you to help you get where you're going. Another thing that we've tried to address is just security and privacy. Number one, a lot of people in this business now are also selling data products, meaning in some way, shape, or form, the data you put into your CRM, which is supposedly confidential, is getting aggregated and turned into these metadata data sets that they go and sell to other companies, including your competitors. There's a lot of details there, and it depends on who you're talking about in terms of where that line is, but it's happening for sure. Also, a lot of our competitors have, in the last few years, gotten in the censorship business. So if your messages don't align with them politically or spiritually, then you might just get shut down one day. And they're not going to call you and say, hey, please don't say that anymore. They're just going to shut you down. So that can be very disruptive. And it's certainly not what I would consider to be American. And then finally, AI is the new thing, of course, and we're going to show you a lot of that with SalesNexus. But what most people are not aware of is that there's some serious confidentiality and sort of liability issues associated with uploading the kind of information that you need to put in your CRM into any kind of a public LLM or AI. Meaning, if a customer sends me a confidential document, right, specifications about their plant or their operation or something like that, and I'm under an NDA or a confidentiality agreement, and then I go put it in ChatGPT, well, I just violated the confidentiality with that customer, right? A lot of our competitors are using public LLMs. So when you put your confidential information in your CRM, you're violating the confidentiality. So we've engineered SalesNexus so that these are not concerns that you have to worry about. Everything's in our private cloud. We're not sending it out to other third parties like I just talked about. We've built the entire tech stack ourselves. We're in control of everything. We know that we're able to say that data is not flying out to third-party partners and things like that. And we're not in the data business. We're not selling your information in any way, shape, or form. And then finally, we built the entire platform so that it's super easy to customize to fit your business. We believe that, one size fits all, even in a given industry, just doesn't work. It might get you started, but that's it. Eventually you're going to find out it's not quite unique enough for your business. And we built SalesNexus. That's always been one of our guiding principles, that you're going to be able to tailor it around your business easily without needing a consultant and so on and so forth. Okay, so when it comes to implementing AI in SalesNexus, here again, we took a somewhat different approach. What you'll see a lot these days in all kinds of apps, not just CRMs, is an existing app where they took and just added a chatbot into the existing app, right? So now you kind of got this little chatbot as a sidekick, right? Which, that's nice, right? But it's only slightly better than just having ChatGPT open in another tab, right? What we've tried to do is embed the AI in an actual sales process so that you're not copying and pasting stuff around, and you don't have to stop and ask the AI for help. It just does it for you. So we'll show you that in a few minutes. As I've mentioned, proactive AI, just everywhere you go, the AI is trying to be helpful, recommending opportunities, replying to emails, and a lot more. Mobile first design. We've designed it so that, when you're on the go, you can do these things. And we have a lot more planned there so that as a salesperson, you don't need to work the way a lot of people have to work, right? You're out working with customers all day, and you have to reserve an hour or two in the end of the day to sit down at a computer and, sort of document everything in the CRM. With SalesNexus, you won't have to do that. You can just do it on the go. Seamless integration. So we've rebuilt the entire platform so it's all API centric. So there's nothing you can do in the application itself that you can't use our API to interact with through another app. So that's pretty exciting. There's just so many possibilities. So in terms of how, sort of what's the goal here? What are we trying to do for you in your business? We're trying to help you automate the entire customer life cycle. We all like to think about our different funnels and processes, right? But the fact is, customers don't follow those processes, right? They have their own crazy ways that they're going to navigate the relationship with your business, right? So with SalesNexus, and I'll show you this in just a minute, you can set things up so that nobody falls through the cracks, no matter how crazy they get. If they just go cold on you, the system's going to automatically do something with them and start making sure they're getting the right attention. Or if they get hot on you, on the other hand, somebody's going to get alerted so they get the right kind of attention. And then you at a management level have the accountability to see who's in which bucket, right? quick glimpse of kind of what's coming next down the road. Caleb and I were just talking. You'll see in a minute. We have the beginnings of this now, but soon we will be able to really just kind of, you won't need your inbox anymore. It'll all just flow in your CRM, and reading and responding to emails will just be part of working with your pipeline, essentially. I have some ideas about, things sort of outside of the sales process, like a personal contact manager with the AI as, kind of your helper. But more back to the business side of things. Number one, we will be releasing early next year, hopefully in January, some automated ad services where you can do everything from bringing in visitors that are coming to your site with their contact data and putting them on automatic outreach campaigns, and also bringing in people that are searching for products like yours, but they haven't even been to your site yet. But also then using the AI to automatically optimize those campaigns and make sure you're getting the best possible results. And then another planned improvement that we have down the road is that, this AI that you're using is going to learn a lot about your business, right? And just as we have always, in our 20 years, we've always said to our customers, hey, if things don't work out, or your business gets acquired, or you just decide you need to use a different system someday, that's okay. It's your data, and we're going to give it to you in a format that you can take somewhere else and use. It's portable, right? Well, we're going to do the same thing with the AI knowledge that you accumulate in the system. So that's a strategic asset that you build for your business that you can take with you. And then accounting integration, that's going to be, pretty powerful. And then also we'll be integrating more of the customer service experience into the system. So, managing customer tickets and things like that. So let's see here. Okay, let's get into the system. Let me check real quick. Just checking to see if we have any questions or anything that need attention before I dive in. So I'm starting off in our pipeline. Let me see if I can widen this screen a little bit so you guys can see a little more. Because our vision is that this kind of becomes your main starting point. So just fundamentally, one really important improvement is that you can create more than one goal. So you may have, several different lines of business. We sell this product to the energy business, and we sell that product to the food and beverage industry and whatever else, right? So you might have different goals or pipelines for each of those industries, right? But back to that sort of automating the customer life cycle within any sort of market segment that you want to target, you'll have your sort of new leads in that kind of marketing funnel, if you will. And then you'll have the pipeline as we traditionally think about it, right? The people that your salespeople are really interacting with now, and they're, trying to close deals. And then you'll have all your customers and the opportunities to upsell them or renew their contract or whatever, however that works in your business. And those things need to all flow together, right? So here's an example. I have my customer prospects pipeline up here, and let's pull that up a little bit so you can see better. So here's the opportunities I have in that pipeline, and I can drag them, from one stage to another, right? Whoops. There we go. And of course, that's going to reflect in all my reporting, forecasting and things like that. But here's what's so powerful about this. I can automate within the pipeline. So let me show you what I mean by that. For this stage in my customer prospect pipeline, I have this automation set up so that when somebody gets into the pipeline, but they just don't go anywhere, right? They get stalled, and you can play with the criteria, but then it automatically sends them back to my marketing pipeline. So they're going to start getting nurtured again because they've gone cold, they're ghosting us or whatever, right? I can then automatically send them an email. When they come in, they automatically get whatever the appropriate email message is. And then create a task for my sales rep to call them, right? So all that happens automatically as soon as they come into the pipeline. And then when they get dragged over here to the discovery phase, so we've qualified them with that first call that got triggered. And now we're in the discovery phase. We got a more in-depth meeting set up where we're really going to find out all the details we need to create a proposal for them. Now they're going to get a different email, the appropriate email. If it stays stuck in that stage too long, something else will happen. And then we're going to update, we're going to move the customer from this stage to the next as soon as a particular field is changed in the database. So meaning in that discovery call, I've got several fields I'm filling out. And when I fill the right one out, indicating that I've, had a meaningful discovery call with that customer, they automatically get moved from the requirements discovery over here to the proposal stage, and so on and so on. You get the idea. So at every stage, you can trigger all kinds of stuff, and I'll show you a little more about what those can be. Let's see. Yeah, you guys don't see the drop down here, but it's a long list. When they open an email, when they click an email, when some field is changed, when a task is overdue, all of these things can be triggered to make something happen, or triggers to make something happen. So it's super, super powerful and flexible. So that's neat and very powerful way to manage your pipeline. But we haven't even talked about the AI yet, right? So here, number one, I can come in and say AI improve. And now what it's going to do is it's going to analyze my pipeline and make recommendations about, maybe I should send an email, or maybe I should be reaching out to them after a certain number of days or something like that. So you can see all the recommendations it's making and so on. I won't bore you with going through all the details there. But even more powerful is if I go over here to Nexi. Nexi is our AI. If I open her up and I click on customer prospects, what's happening here is Nexi is finding prospects for me to put into this pipeline, people that I should sell whatever this thing is, right? What my product, based on what's in my CRM. So these are people that, for whatever reason, they're kind of being overlooked right now, and there's a potential opportunity to sell them. And so all I got to do is hit apply next to Anna. And give it a name. And now she's in my pipeline. There she is. So, super powerful, just amazing. Imagine in a system where you have leads coming in from your website all the time, and you got your salespeople doing what they're doing with the opportunities that are in front of them. And now the AI is finding the people that are showing the signals that they need attention, and you have all these pipelines flowing together so that everybody's being moved along automatically and getting the right kind of attention, right? So now, you're increasing your results just because nobody's getting ignored, right? And that, as we all know, is one of the biggest challenges in running a sales organization. Let's see.
Craig.
Yes, ma'am.
Cesar has a question. He asks, will each bucket have a different follow-up sequence? Depending on the situation?
Exactly. So when I set up a trigger to send an email like this one, I choose which email it will be. And it could be just one email, or it could be its own sequence of multiple emails. So if I expect customers to stay in this stage for, say, 2 weeks, I might want to have 2 or 3 emails that get triggered for that specific purpose.
Thank you, Craig.
Sure. Yeah. Good question. Okay. So let's see. So now, like we talked about earlier, one of the triggers that you can set up is, I guess it was over here in this one, scheduling a task for your sales rep to call them, right? So if I'm a salesperson, I go to my tasks and, here's what I got to do today, right? And I got my calendar over here. I'll show you more of this in a minute, but you can lay all this out the way you want it and save it. And then you can share it with other people on your team and all that, kind of similar to what you can do in SalesNexus, but a lot more dynamic. But you can see, if my first task is I need to call Amanda, and, I can kind of scroll through the list here by just hitting next, right? And if I'm ready to call Amy, I hit the phone and it dials my phone. Right now you can integrate with either RingCentral or Twilio. I can click the email button and send an email. So just as we've always focused on, this is, to me, if I'm a salesperson, this is where I need to be able to go, right? I got 30 minutes or an hour on my calendar where I can make all my follow-up calls that I need to make today. I need to be able to get in there and do it fast, right? And so we've organized it so that you can do that. There's not a lot of jumping around and multiple screens. But you notice right here, it's suggesting things to talk about with Amy, and all kinds of content ideas for me to, engage her in the conversation, right? But also, if I go over to Nexi, it's going to suggest tasks to me. So same thing. These are people in my CRM that, for whatever reason, maybe haven't had enough attention lately. We haven't heard back from them. I sent them an email a while back and we haven't gotten a response. All kinds of different purposes, I guess, right? And you see, follow-up call to Carol Johnson. And it kind of explains right here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it says engaged just over a month ago, phone available, timely for reactivation to prevent further dormancy. And it gives me a script of what to say. Hello, Carol. Craig here from SalesNexus. We connected about a month ago, blah, 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 right? So all I have to do is say accept. And now Carol's on my to-do list right here. So she goes right into that calling stack, right? So I can't wait to play around with that more myself. as you go, you can mark it as complete. So now, it's taken off your list of things to do and all of that good stuff, right? Now, when you're calling, let's look at that. You can do it from here, or you can go into contacts and, call from your contact list, right? And you see the phone numbers there highlighted and so on, or activated, I guess. And you notice right here with Amanda, I have transcripts of my calls with her that the system is automatically attaching a transcript, converting the audio to text. So now, this is a short conversation, but you see how that works, right? I can replay it, hear the audio, or look at the transcript, right? So I just can't even, it's hard for me to even fathom how useful that's going to be in the real world on a day-to-day basis, right? How many times do Amanda comes up on your task list and it's been, heck, sometimes even only a week ago since you talked to her, right? But you've talked to so many other people and everything else going on, and you don't remember, right? So now you just click here and boom, it's just like you're right there, right? You know exactly what to bring up, I think that's going to be super cool to play with. And the AI can now use that information, right? So when it's suggesting what to email Amanda or what to say, it's using what was said in the previous conversations, right? So it's just amazing, the possibilities. So to show you an example of more of kind of how the AI is going to do that, let me show you this. So just like in the current version, you have your custom fields and all that. And, you can see, oh, well, we are in a beta. I don't know what I did there. Yeah, you can see here, I can check off things. These are all sort of tags that you can use to filter and stuff like that. But also you have email conversations. So that's what we, in our previous version, called our email capture. So it's connecting to your Google or your Outlook account, right? And so here's my whole thread of conversations with Amanda, right? And so I can, you can see this, these are pretty short messages, but, everything would be there, the, long emails if there were some. But I can hit the reply right here and just reply, right? And it's building a reply for me, right? It's got a suggested subject in there, and there you go. There's my email, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier. Soon we'll be adding to this so that you don't even really need to look at your inbox. You're just going to go into SalesNexus. It's just going to say, here's the people that are currently in your pipeline in the closing stage who sent you an email. Let's reply to those first, right? So that's just going to be amazing. But, you can make edits to the text and stuff like that, and then you send it out, right? Simple. And again, all of that conversation, just like with the transcripts of the phone calls, that's now what they call context for the AI, so that it's better at recommending what to do next, what to say next, etc. Let's see, on the contacts, you can also just straight up use Nexi to say, what should I do with Amanda, right? What do you have? What recommendations do you have for me, right? And she's going to come back and give us some ideas here. Emails that we can send, calls, and what to say in the call. So there you go. So if I choose the call, it puts that task on my to-do list, right? If I choose the email, you'll see it's going to give me a nice little preview of it. So kind of like what we just looked at, that I can just edit and send out.
So, Craig, I do have a couple of questions on the roster here. I'll just go down in order. So, Alan asked, how do you separate all your customers so that the LMM is only learning about our business?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow, Alan's going to send me down some LLM theory rabbit hole. And, forgive me because I'm not an expert in all of that. I'm learning as fast as I can. But I think fundamentally the easiest way to think about it is we're not teaching the AI anything. Your CRM is the data within your CRM is the context for it to answer questions. So like when you go to ChatGPT and you ask it a question, the context for it to answer that question is all of the information on the internet, right? That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is answering your questions in the context of what's in your CRM. So the more data you get in your CRM, the better its answers, right? But it's not. So in other words, you can think of it as like an assistant who is an expert at doing certain things, writing emails and suggesting what to say when you make a sales call. And they never forget anything you ever do, right? But the way they think doesn't change, I guess. I don't know if that's a good way to explain that, but that's my understanding of how it works currently. So I think your real question, though, Alan, is that your answers will be totally different than my answers, right? When Nexi answers your questions, it's looking at your data. When it answers my questions, it's looking at my data, right?
Right. Yeah, a good way to think about that is there's an AI that you're talking to, and it doesn't actually remember it itself. It'll always will reference back to the data that's in your system and the conversations that you had in the past. So always has to reference back. It doesn't actually store it within the AI itself.
Right. Let's see. Okay, so
Craig, I don't know if you wanted to, being that we do have a good bit of questions, did you want to wait till the end?
Let's tackle them as they come in. Sure.
All right. So Travis asks, is AI built into the system for importing contacts to SalesNexus? For example, checking for duplicates.
Yes, that is a great question. And the answer is yes. In fact, I'm not really prepared to show you this, Travis. Unfortunately, that's a great question. I should have prepared for that. But what the system does is you upload your CSV, and the AI analyzes the file and figures out how to map all the columns in your CSV to fields in SalesNexus, and then shows you that sort of mapping plan that it's come up with, including when, the problem I always run into is I got all the standard fields in SalesNexus, and I got a couple of fields that I use to kind of organize my contacts. But the file that, my marketing person just sent me has a couple of other columns that I don't really have a home for in SalesNexus, right? And the way I always do it is I get to that point, I'm like, oh shoot, I got to go create a field for that or something, right? In SalesNexus. what happens now is the AI figures that out for you, and it goes, here you go. And I've created a new field for this column, right? And you can monkey with that and, sort of correct it if you want. And then hit import, and it loads it all in there. And yes, it's checking for duplicates. And just as in our current version, you can update existing records with new information. So instead of creating a new duplicate contact, it just puts new information in the fields in that previous contact, if that makes sense. But yeah, really good question.
And then for Peggy, she asks if the new SalesNexus will work with GoTo/Jive for calling.
Not yet, but that's on the list for sure, and shouldn't be a big trick. Our current version does too, so we're just still fleshing out all the different integrations and everything. But that's definitely coming, Peggy, for sure.
Awesome. All right, and I think that's all the questions for now.
Okay, awesome. I was going to jump into creating a lookup too. I can create saved lookups, again, kind of like you're used to in SalesNexus today. And then you just, grab them and click on them, and there's the list, right? Or I can create a new one, and I'll just do a quick example. I can just start off with, hey, Nexi, what do you suggest, right? Or write a prompt for what I'm trying to look up, and it'll just generate the query logic for me, right? Or I can just build it like you're used to in SalesNexus, so if their email contains SalesNexus or whatever, right? And then just save that. And just like, again, that you're used to in SalesNexus, I can choose what columns are going to appear in the results and all of that. And then you save it, and you just go back and grab that anytime, and it's dynamic. If a new lead came in that meets those criteria, they're going to be on that list. Let's see. Okay, so let's jump over to the campaigns. So one of the things that, for those of you who have started a beta, you may have already noticed this. I'd love to hear your feedback about it. But, the system will ask you when you first sign up what industry you're in, and automatically try to customize the CRM around your business. So it'll create custom fields for you, and even generate a kind of starter campaign. So that's what you're seeing here. When I created this account, I told it that I was in the solar panels on commercial buildings business. And it created this example campaign for me, right? Created the image and the text and everything, right? So that's cool. That's a good, nice, easy place to start in creating your first email campaign, right? But you can come up here and create a new campaign. And you can, just like you're used to in the current SalesNexus, choose from pre-designed templates and all of that good stuff, right? Let's see, I always forget where it is.
Are you looking for Nexi to do it?
Yeah, that's right. It's over here.
So you do have to select a template for Nexi to base her design after.
Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Sitting here having a senior moment or something. Okay, so I got to create the new campaign, and then choose a template. And it's loading it up in our B editor that your people that use SalesNexus already are used to. It's nice, easy, drag and drop, HTML. And then I go over here and I say, create an email to announce our new solar panel installation packages. And I can choose to have it generate the image and the content itself, and even choose who, when it says suggest new segment here, that means who should I send it to, right? Like it's going to create a list for me. So I say generate with AI, and we'll give that a sec to do its thing. I turned off images because that takes the longest, and I don't want to have you guys sitting here waiting too long. But, you know, great way to start creating your images, or I'm sorry, your email campaigns. It will create the images if you want it to. And so you create the campaigns, and then like we looked at earlier, they can be triggered based on your pipeline, you know, so each lead's current status or customer's current status, or they can be sent to a whole list all at once. So for instance, you know, like a product promotion like this, or, you know, maybe an event announcement or something like that. You can look up all your customers and just send them that message all at once. And then I didn't show you earlier, but it gives you all the stats, you know, opens and clicks and so on and so forth. And like we looked at earlier, those opens and clicks can trigger whatever's next. You know, if you clicked on my email, then you go into my pipeline, which puts a task on my to-do list to call you, right? Or whatever you want that process to be. Still waiting. Let's see. When it comes to campaigns, Caleb, what else should we be mentioning here?
This is a very bare bones process, and the workflow is going to have much improvement. We're going to have it multi-channel. You're going to be able to do SMS setup in this campaign and stuff, but that's all in the future. Right now, this long loading might be because of the suggest new segments. I know we are doing work on this section for improvements.
I'm asking it for too much right now.
And we can still create templates from scratch, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Just, you know, you can either, just like in the current system, you can start with one of these pre-designed templates and change it however you want, or just start with a blank and
Gotcha.
And do that. Okay, well, so let's switch to dashboards. So here again, you know, at a management level, this is kind of one of the most important things, right? You really, in a perfect world, you'd like to be able to come in and go, you know, what's my forecast look like for this month and next month? And how many leads have come in so far this month, and break it down by where they came from and all of that, right? At a sales level, you need a dashboard that kind of tells you, okay, where do I need to focus my attention? Am I short on prospects this month, or am I short on appointments, or whatever, right? Those kind of things are obvious, right? But that's where, in my experience, one size cannot fit all, right? What I call a qualified lead and what you call a qualified lead, what I call as a sort of forecastable opportunity for next month, and what you call a forecastable opportunity, are two different things, right? And it's all the devil's in the details of your language, the little pieces of information you're going to gather about your customers, the industry they're in, the size of the company, all of that. So you need to be able to have a dashboard that works the way you work, right? And uses your criteria. So that's always in any CRM. That's kind of one of the hardest things to learn, is how to build their reports and dashboards and stuff. Now Nexi does it for you, right? So create a graph of contacts with existing solar installations. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make something up. Create a graph of contacts by last contact date. So, show me, make it easy for me to find the people that need attention, right? So if I'm in a insurance business or anywhere where you have, renewals to think about, that can be really powerful. And it's going to create recommended reports for me that I can, just like we've seen before, accept.
Yeah, Craig. So the prompt I think you were looking for is when you want to add a new panel, it'll pull up a prompt for you to give Nexi, and then it'll actually create the graph for you to put in your board.
Oh, so I'm just user error again, right?
Yeah, if you go to the panels icon on the right side and then the plus.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Create a graph of contacts by date, by last engagement date. Let's see. And then let's see, how are we doing on time? Yeah, we're kind of running out. I want to make sure we look at opportunities because we've done some really cool stuff there. So yeah, it looks like that didn't work very well, but that's okay. We won't get stuck on that. Let's look at opportunities real quick. One of the things, we have a lot of customers currently using SalesNexus that have given us a lot of great input on the opportunities. And one of the most common things we've heard is, typically in a B2B world, when you're doing big deals, you're not just dealing with one contact, right? There's multiple people. So you need to be able to manage an opportunity with multiple people in it, right? So I can go here to this opportunity and add Don here and say he's the economic buyer and his influence is high. And here, this other user is the decision maker and their influence is high. And then you see down here, I got an org chart that Don just got added to, right? So now I'll add another one. There we go. And we'll say this is the technical evaluator with medium influence. And now I've got this cool little org chart, right, that helps me really visualize who I'm dealing with to get this deal closed. And just like everything else, I can go over here to Nexi and it'll suggest people that should be added to the opportunity, right? So, in a big company, if you're dealing with giant corporations and stuff like that, where you've, over the years, you've added 20, 30, 50 more people into your CRM, all at that company. Now Nexi's going to be recommending to you, hey, here's some people you may want to make sure you're touching base with as a part of this opportunity, just so they don't get ignored. And just once they're in the opportunity, now it's going to start recommending that they get different things in all the other parts of the application, right? Email messages, calls, etc. So that's just super powerful in a complex sale type of world. If that's the world you live in, that's just going to be amazing. And of course, you can add notes to the opportunity that are kept with the opportunity, not the contact specifically. And same thing with documents. And then one other thing to touch on really, really quick is forms. So now we have a form builder, which there's two different ways you can use it. I can create a new form using a similar builder. So now I can create a form here. And when I click on it over here on the right, now I can add my fields from my database to the form, right? So now all your, for those of you who have like a request a quote type of form or something where you're capturing information from the customer that's really unique, not the normal just email and phone number type stuff, right? Now you can just grab them here, put them in the form, and then you publish that form and you put it in your website, right? And it's automatically linked to SalesNexus, so the leads go right into the CRM. Or you can see here this wiretap option. That lets you point to an existing form, and our system's just going to create the JavaScript that you need to put into that form so that the leads will go into SalesNexus. So it's in that way, it's kind of similar to the way SalesNexus does that now, just a lot easier. Let's see, Braden's asking a good question about e-signature. Not yet, although, integrating with all the different document e-signature platforms is definitely on the coming soon list for sure. Let's see. All right. So Caleb, Sabrina, anything that I've missed?
Yeah. So Tib had a question about the dashboards and how you save the different widgets or panels. So how we can have the different views and contacts.
Right. Yeah. Let's look at that. Let's do this. For those of you who are on a time crunch or whatever, please let us know what you think. We're going to send out the recording for everybody so you can reference things later. Just go to salesnexus.com, and if you go to the pricing page there, you can start a free trial directly of the new SalesNexus. And for those of you that are clients, it won't change your existing account. That'll come later. So for now, you're just playing around in this to get a feel for it. For those of you who have a little bit more time, let's dive into that, because we really didn't have time to get specific about that. But Tim's question's a really good one. So here I am on contacts, and I have things laid out the way I have them laid out, right? I can have boards, and you see here, we have default layouts for the marketing person, your sales or account manager, your sales manager, and the CEO or the executive, right? So I can choose any of those boards, and it's just a certain arrangement of these panels, right? And then within a board, I can customize it and add more panels to it, just like this, right? So I can take that panel and put it over here in the corner, right? And it's the same thing everywhere you go. So if I go to dashboards, I can have multiple boards, and then I can add more panels to that board and just lay it out however I want. And then if I want to create a new one, this is where I would, tell Nexi what kind of graph I want to do, right?
Yeah, and there's some suggested ones too. some basic ones and then some more advanced ones that it'll suggest when you go into the Nexi icon.
Right. And then, similar to the existing system, you can lay these things out and then share them or push them out to your customers. Or I'm sorry, not your customers, your team, your salespeople. So you can lay out exactly how you want them to see everything and then share it out to them. And let's see. So Travis is asking a good question, and I'm sure everybody's wondering. If you're an existing customer, you will be upgraded into the new SalesNexus when it's ready, and there's no upgrade charge or anything like that. The only thing that would change anything is if you're looking for to upgrade, the features or add users or something like that. But if you're just, operating the same business with no changes, then there's no charges. But to be really clear, we're not going to just one day send out an email saying, hey, the upgrade's happening on Monday, get ready. You're not just going to see those show up. We're going to coordinate with you. We're going to give you plenty of time to prepare. And most importantly, we're going to have tools that migrate all your data over. The data structure in these two different systems is somewhat different. And so we're right now working on the code to, move your notes to the right place in the new version and move your custom fields to the right place and all of that, so that when you log on day one, everything's there and, you're not lost. So the best way to prepare for that is just play around with the beta, get familiar with it. I'm sure in the next few weeks, we will be looking for people to kind of be our beta testers of really going live in the system. Right now, as you've seen, there's still a few rough edges that we need to polish, right? But soon we'll be looking for people who want to really, drive it for real. So if you want to get on that list, please let us know. Otherwise, right after the holidays, we'll be kind of mapping out the schedule for getting people migrated over more clearly. But there's not going to be a super big rush. We don't want to disrupt your business. So we'll give you plenty of time to plan things. Let's see what else. Sabrina, any other questions that I missed?
I think that's it. We've covered everything.
Well, I really appreciate everybody joining us. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and we're super excited about the new system, of course, and we're super excited to hear your feedback. I should have pointed this out earlier, but when you get started with your beta, go up here to give feedback. And that's where you can submit ideas and suggestions to us. And it goes right into a queue that Caleb and the team are looking at. Those guys are just doing an amazing job, and you'll be very impressed with how responsive they are to the feedback that you give us. If you're just looking for help, you can see there's a help button over here. And, you can submit a ticket with us. We have some initial knowledge base articles about the new version already set up that you can tap into. And we also, some of we do live training sessions every Tuesday. And so you're welcome to join that, and we can answer your questions there too. Again, thanks everybody. Really, really appreciate it. And please tell us what you think. Give us some ideas. This is all nothing. if it doesn't work for you. So that's what we really want to hear about. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great afternoon, and you'll be hearing more from us soon.
And Craig, I don't mean to get you caught up, but Tim asked one last question. The portal that you're looking at for clients to see where they where they are at in a specific task, is that what?
Yeah, so he means kind of like on an e-commerce level, you're their customers having some sort of portal access. That is an idea that we have on the roadmap, but we're talking pretty far out for that. Not in the near future.
Yeah, that's a good question, and definitely that is on the roadmap. We've talked to folks about that, for a while now, and there's no reason. Again, I've just been super thrilled and amazed by how quick this process has gone, and with Caleb at the helm, the team's super responsive, and so our hope is that we can take the feedback that you guys give us, requests like that, Tim, and just kind of rank them based on what are we getting asked for the most, and start crunching those things out quickly. So the more you tell us about what you need, the more we're going to get it done, and the faster.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. That one I'm excited for.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Everybody have a great rest of the day, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so
Craig.
much.
Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Bye.